Jones. I am your resident certified sex coach, and you are here at DOYOU which stands for Do You Know the New Kinky You? I just want to let you know that as I am recording this, it is snowing in the DC area. Now, it's not terrible, but I am at the Sexual Health and Wellness Salon, which is the place that I bought for work-related things and to be able to rent it out for those who are in the area or coming to the area, like an Airbnb, event rental space and things like that. But I don't live here, so I have people in and out. But at the same time, I'm looking at the snow and I'm like, oh my God, I must really love you to sit here and try to do this video while it's snowing outside, and I need to get to a different location. But since I do love you and I want to get this video out, I'm going to keep it brief. But the call to action is to really point you into a different direction. And so, we're still in COVID. This is the year 2022. Today is actually January 16th. And it's just pretty crazy. We're going in between lockdown and being able to go out, and the continuous debate about being vaccinated or not being vaccinated. At the end of the day, we have to live our lives. And in that respect, I've watched a lot of TV. I've watched a lot of Netflix, a lot of Amazon Prime. I had Hulu, almost Peacock, all of the streaming services, right? And so one of my favorite things to do or watch is comedy, especially stand-up comedy. I can do the movies and things like that, but I like the way stand-up comedy does, with the storytelling and things like that. I especially like the post-COVID stand-up comedy, because you kind of see how, we have really truly been impacted, and even the delivery of live stage play isn't the right word, but live performances, especially with stand-up comedy, how it's changed. But I was watching Tubi, which is another streaming service, and I liked Tubi because I had almost seen everything else that had already been recorded. And if you know of something that I should watch as a recommendation, please send it to me. But I was watching Tubi, and I ran across this thing. It's called Farm to TV. And when I saw it, I was like, what is this? Like, it seemed like a documentary or something that I just really didn't want to watch. But I broke down and I watched it, and it was this comedian, Preston Taylor. I believe it's Preston J. Taylor, who is a comedian in Los Angeles. And this particular stand-up, it was an hour-long stand-up that it was recorded last year, I believe, at least based off of this article that I pulled up on him on Fandomize. The article was April 22nd, 2021. So based on the article date, I'm not sure if the recording, and I should probably look that up, but what the recording date actually was. But anyway, I'm looking at this guy, and his comedy's funny, and I'm like trying to get into it. And then, of course, it's not surprising to you guys that comedians talk a lot about sex. And I'm really trying to figure out how to share with you some of the content that I watch, these comedic contents and these scenarios that these comedians bring up in a way that, can kind of translate, because, the reason that I think it fits so well is like in comedy and music, and movies and all books and all kinds of things. Sex is a very real and relevant and immersive topic. And so people talk about it. It's just like, I don't know why conversations about it seem to be so hard, but people do talk about it. And maybe the reason why comedians and actors and things like that get away with talking about it so easily is because it's a one-way conversation. They're not always having that banter back and forth. But anyway, so Farm to TV is a story told by Preston Taylor about his life and his journey from being a Black man, I believe in Texas, yes, in Texas, growing up on a farm, and to how, he progressed through life and including how he progressed through life as a sexual being. And so I was like, and most comedians, at least in my opinion, they tell more jokes about sex, not necessarily divulge personal things about themselves. And so with this particular Farm to TV, when Preston was talking, he specifically said lifestyle. And I was like, lifestyle? Okay. So I went back and maybe I thought I missed something. And then he continues on with his story and he mentions being a bull. I was like, oh, so he really did mean lifestyle. I was like, okay. Now, mind you, I have to preface this because I was talking to a friend, recently who happens to be a dominatrix. And, I was talking to her about some ideas I was having, and she was like, girl, you need to get out more. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, well, these things are happening. They're just happening in places that you don't know about. And I was like, oh, okay. So she said, I like when my vanilla friends, try to, explore and get out there. And I was like, I'm not vanilla. And she was like, if you saw my stuff, you would know that you're vanilla. And I was like, can I be French vanilla? And she was like, no, there's no such thing. I was like, I'm going to work on it. I'm going to invent a French vanilla. But this comedian is talking about being a bull and in the lifestyle, and don't get me wrong, because I'm vanilla, that in the lifestyle, to my knowledge, a bull is, a single male, a lot of times a single black male that will engage with couples, typically white couples, where the single male will have sex with the female in the couple, typically the wife, in a cuckolding situation where the husband in the situation is either told about the experience by his wife or is there watching while this bull has sex with his wife. And it can be a power dynamic. It can be a humiliation factor. It's definitely a power dynamic because it's part of the whole. It's a kink. It's a kink. So there's definitely power dynamics and things like that. There's also the fact that there's something called sperm wars, where some men who are the cucks, which is the man watching, he uses the fact that there's another man's sperm in the presence of his wife to kind of regenerate himself so that he's in sperm competition with this other man. And then after the bull and the wife, the cuckoldress, has sex, then the sex with the husband is even more intensified because of the prior encounter with the bull. Now, he doesn't get into a whole lot of details, but he does talk about these very fluid situations that he's had in life, some interactions that he's been in. He even mentions, I don't even want to give it away. Like, there's a scenario where urine is involved in his comedy. There are just different things. So if you, and I guess this is a recommendation because we're reading our book. So Mirrors of Intimacy. So if you haven't looked at those videos, you can check that out on the podcast. But, I think that this was, if you're perusing and looking for something on TV, I was happy to run into his 1 hour special on Tubi because, again, I had never listened to a comedian who was actually pretty funny that was able to divulge that much about their personal experience, especially their personal experience in the kink lifestyle. So that is what I am recommending as part of maybe your MLK Day or long weekend or, streaming. It's not on Netflix. It's on Tubi. Watch it. So I am Shani Jones, your resident certified sex coach, and I appreciate you listening to me for these 10 minutes or so. Please remember to subscribe and like and follow and share and do all of those wonderful things. You can look at my website, doyouknky.com. Reach out, leave comments, feedback, all of those great things. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in again, leave your comments. I love you. Thank you.